Hello friends, this is Worm, and today I wanted to talk about a couple of just random things because it's my kid's birthday party tomorrow and I'm trying to get ready for it, so probably not going to be a super long video. But with that being said, first order of business to talk about is in regards to bows in PvP. Now, I don't know, maybe I'm going absolutely crazy, right? But does it feel like bows are like the timing between when you fire a shot or when you're hit by a bow and when the damage actually applies to the enemy or to yourself, like, is there a delay there, right? And I noticed this was really bad at the start of the season, and then it kind of got better, and then it's like Iron Banner rolls around and it's like back to the way it was, right? And it's like, you know, Wish Ender, for example. Wish Ender is like, you know, I'm engaging somebody using Wish Ender. I don't have a problem with Wish Ender, by the way, because it's not just Wish Ender, it's all bows, right? But let's just say Wish Ender, so I come around the corner, I get hit, and I strafe back behind cover, and then it's like just a tiny millisecond after is when I'm actually taking the damage, right? And like, I don't know, like, it's very frustrating because there's been instances where, like, you know, somebody will be using a bow, insert whatever kind of bow, you know, and I will be behind cover, what I feel is behind cover, and where my ghost looks like it's behind cover, but I'll still die to a bow. And it's only with bows. Like, I'm not noticing this with any other hard-hitting weapons, you know, sniper rifles, hand cannons, like, they all seem to be fine. It's just bows, right? And I use Wish Ender because Wish Ender is probably the most common bow I see in PvP, but it's all bows, right? Lethophobia, that's one that's commonly being used right now. That's happening. It's happening with that. It's happened with basically any and all types of bows. The only one that I have, like, that I really can't tell is with Lemon Arc, but it's because its damage over time is a little bit different, which makes it harder to tell. But yeah, please, somebody, like, help me confirm that I'm not crazy here, right? Confirm that I'm not crazy and that there's actually an issue, or maybe I am just crazy. But with that being said, I just wanted to get that out of the way. But moving on to the next topic, and this is one I wanted to talk about last week, but I was sick last week, unfortunately, and I couldn't get around to doing it. But of course, Mayhem was featured last week, maybe it was the week before last. I can't remember. It was the weekend that I was sick, okay? Mayhem was featured as a game mode, and I went in Mayhem, and I like Mayhem a lot. I have a lot of fun in Mayhem because it allows me to not worry about KD and all that stuff, just to have fun, try new stuff. Well, I was playing on Warlock, and I was using handheld Supernova, and I don't know if it's just me, but handheld Supernova got me like zero kills, right? And I put it on, I tried it for several games, and I would deal a lot of damage to enemies. I'd knock them back and stuff, which was awesome, but it never got the kill. And I didn't even look to see how much damage each of those little bolts is doing, but like, can we please get a small buff to handheld Supernova to, like, either increase the tracking or increase the damage that it you know, the handheld Supernova actually does. And here's the thing, like, I know a couple years ago, I think it was when maybe it was for Forsaken dropped, and we first got handheld Supernova and we got Controverse Hold. That was a nightmare situation, right? Like, you know, like, people literally were spamming, Warlocks, sorry, were spamming grenades and instantly getting them back. And those grenades hit so hard back in the day. Like, they could kill you from 15 meters away with absolutely no effort. Like, I enjoyed doing it to people. I hated when it happened to me, but I'm sure that the people that, you know, killed me with it enjoyed it. And I don't think we should necessarily go back to those days, right, where handheld Supernova was absolutely god tier. But at the same time, like, it can't get any kills. And it is, you know, it's one of those things, like, this, in my opinion, should be a one-shot grenade ability. We have other one-shot abilities, right? We have, you know, the weighted throwing knife on Hunter. We have, what's the Titan, Thunderclap on Titan. You know, both of these have the potential to one-shot kill Guardians in their base form, right? This is not including any aspects, any fragments, anything like that. Like, it can just get a kill outright, right? And so I feel like Warlock should have at least one ability, and especially if you have to commit an aspect to doing that. Like, you know, you have to commit Chaos Accelerate, you have to use Magnetic Grenade. Like, you're kind of locked into a very specific thing, and you don't just get it back for free. Like, you know, the weighted throwing knife, and if anything, on Hunter is more broken than a one-shot kill handheld Supernova, because you can constantly get that knife back if you have just one fragment on, right? But of course, this isn't talking about throwing knife. I think that maybe the reason why this is not the case is, of course, you know, the two things that these one-shot melee abilities, or I'm sorry, one-shot abilities have are that they're melees. I spoiled it for myself, right? But they're melee abilities. Thunderclap's melee ability, throwing knife's melee ability. Is there any others? I can't think of any other one-shot abilities, but if you think of any other one-shot abilities, throw them down in the comments below, without having to commit to an exotic. Because I know that, like, you know, you could throw on Peregrine Greaves and get one-shot shoulder charges, stuff like that, without having to fully build into something. You know, if you just have maybe one fragment, one aspect, or just one plain Jane ability. Tell me it in the comments, because I can't remember. But these two, they're melee abilities, right? Melee abilities, and I know there's a little bit of a difference. You know, Thunderclap takes a long time to charge up. Like if you get a kill with Thunderclap, you kind of deserved it, and the enemy who got killed by it kind of, I mean, I hate saying it, but they kind of got what they deserved. You know, because it takes like a second to charge that thing. And, you know, 1 second is a long time. Anybody who uses Final Warning, which I was playing with Final Warning too, knows that 1 second charge up time to get the full, you know, the full burst of damage or whatever takes forever, right? So, you know, charging up Thunderclap, like, that's its trade-off. It has a long charge up. You know, with weighted throwing knife, you have to be precise. And granted, you know, how precise you want to call it, I'll leave that up to you. But, you know, you do have to hit a precision shot with weighted throwing knife. But handheld Supernova, I think the biggest difference is, number one, it's a grenade ability. Number two, it's somewhere in between weighted throwing knife and Thunderclap. Like Thunderclap, like, it just has a long charge up time, very easy to use, but it has a long charge up time. Throwing knife has a very fast charge up time, but you have to be precise with it. And I think that handheld Supernova is kind of in the middle, right? Kind of in the middle. It's got a long charge up time. Actually, it's not in the middle. It's kind of in the middle, but in a bad way. It's got a long charge up time. You have to be at close range. Like, you have to preemptively get ready to use it, right? Like, you can't just like, oh, somebody's rushing me with a shotgun, let me charge it up, hold it, and then throw it at them. Like, you'd have to throw your melee to get them back first. And even then, if they wanted to commit to the shotgun, they probably could, right? And I think that it's, you know, the reward that you get for using it does not feel necessary. And again, this was tested in Mayhem, you know, and I know Mayhem's a little bit of a different situation, but I wanted to use it in Mayhem because I wanted to see how fun it would be to just, you know, blast people like the good old days with handheld Supernova. And literally, like, I don't think I got a single kill in like the 12 games that I played on Voidlock, right? And so that was, you know, and that, like I said, that was last week. I think Mayhem's back this week, so I'll probably try it again. But yeah, I want to see a buff to handheld Supernova so that it can get a one-shot kill. Not crazy like it used to be, not at like 15 meters, but like maybe like 10 meters or closer. Yeah, it's a one-hit kill. Maybe speed up the charge time a little bit. Maybe even keep the charge time the same, but just increase the damage. Because again, like, you have to commit to charging it up. Just like Thunderclap. Like, you have to commit to charging Thunderclap. You have to commit to charging up handheld Supernova. So I don't think that it should necessarily be like an instant charge, like, you know, a backup grenades or a backup shotgun, so to speak. That's what it used to be. That's really what it used to be. And it had way more range. But I think that, you know, increasing the damage it does, make it, you know, one hit kill out to 10 meters or something like that, could potentially be a pretty decent thing. I don't know, of course, you know, with Devour and whatnot in the Crucible, like, maybe that's a bit much, because maybe that could lead to too much grenade spam with Controverse Hold. But I don't know, I would like to see a buff. Like, I think that, again, Warlock should have, like, if you commit your a whole aspect, yeah, if you commit a whole aspect to handheld Supernova, you should be rewarded for that, right? Like, I know those vortex grenades, a chaos accelerant vortex grenade is like a mini Nova bomb. Like, those things hurt. A chaos accelerant scatter grenade is like a one-hit kill, right? So why is handheld Supernova, this super close range, you know, charge up, blah blah blah, not a one-hit kill? I don't really know, but yeah. Moving on from there, though, I had one more I wanted to talk about. Oh yeah, Peacekeepers, of course. Peacekeepers are still in the fray, and really not Peacekeepers. We talked earlier this week about Peacekeepers and the nerf that they got. Of course, we said in that video, Peacekeepers, I don't think were the issue. I think it was more SMGs, because SMGs are just absolutely broken. I wanted to talk about SMGs a little bit because I don't really know how Bungie could fix them, right? Outside of just absolutely wrecking their range or wrecking their stability, right? Because, like, here's the thing, like, you know, it's a common thing to see people running around with SMGs. Like, SMGs, I would say, make up a fat percentage of my games. Again, this is my personal game, just, you know, the past like 7 games I played. You know, there are at least 2 to 3 enemies probably 4 in some games, that are using SMGs on the enemy team. That's not even including my team. That's just the people using SMGs against me. You know, and some of them are Titan using Peacekeepers, some of them are Hunters, some are Warlocks. But the problem remains consistent, and I don't think that Peacekeepers was part of the issue. I think that Peacekeepers made, you know, made it more of an issue, but I don't think Peacekeepers were the issue. I think the fact that you can roll a 600 round per minute SMG with target lock, if you can roll any weapon with target lock on it, that's where there's problems, right? Because here's the thing, like that is free. Like, it's not kill clip where, oh, you got to get a kill first. It's not rampage where you got to get a kill first. You know, it's free damage for doing the most basic thing in a fight, right? And like, yeah, like you could, you know, some people say, well, you can counter it by, you know, strafing or something like that. But like, realistically, it is nearly impossible to counter target lock, right? If you're a hunter and you do a dodge, okay, that breaks aim assistance, so target lock is reset, but you've already taken damage and you're mid dodge, right? Like you're vulnerable. It's not like you can dodge and continue shooting while you dodge, right? Like you have to go into third person, do the little animation and stuff, and that's problematic. Like getting away from somebody who's using target lock is problematic, and it goes with any weapon, not just SMGs. Like it could be auto rifles or anything like that. But target lock is a very, very strong perk that is very easy to use, and it got a nerf a couple months ago. You know, they tuned the damage, how fast you get the damage, stuff like that. But again, on SMGs specifically, that didn't really affect them very much. Like it still drops your TTK, and that's problematic. I think that if anything, you know, target lock should be targeted, no pun intended, sorry. Target lock should be targeted for a nerf or a change on submachine guns, particularly auto rifles. I haven't had much experience or issues with auto rifles with target lock. I'm sure that there's probably, you know, a god roll out there with like dynamic sway target lock. I know that the Halloween auto rifle, the Horror Story, can get dynamic sway and target lock because I have one. But I haven't seen those. I don't see those in my lobbies. Like I see it's SMGs and target lock. And really, I would even go as far as to say it's not just SMGs. Like it's specifically SMGs with target lock. Like if you take off target lock, if you took target lock out of the equation, I guarantee you, like the number of SMGs that you would find in the Crucible drops down substantially, because SMGs, especially like a 600 round per minute or a 720 round per minute SMG, they're not easy to like control, right? Outside of Immortal, which Immortal is on a whole different level, but it is an in-game weapon, to be fair. Outside of Immortal, like I don't see a lot of incredibly like stable, wildly accurate SMGs that are just stable and accurate at base, right? Like yes, like, you know, with perks like dynamic sway reduction, like yeah, that's gonna make things like Unending Tempest much stronger. But again, that's a whole perk slot, right? Like anybody who knows me very well knows that I like tap the trigger and dynamic sway reduction on my SMGs. It turns them into literal laser beams. But again, I'm sacrificing my ability to have target lock or have kill clip or something like that on my SMGs. And I think that Bungie should just rethink target lock on SMGs. If you want to replace it with whatever perk, if you just want to nerf the perk, like I know it's fine, and you know, I know it's possible. They can change perks. Sorry, they can change perks. Back in Destiny 1, they changed shot package to I don't even remember what it was. They changed every shotgun that had shot package, so they changed it to a different perk. You know, every aggressive frame shotgun in Destiny 2 that had quick draw got it swapped out with something else. Like I want to say Felwinter's Lie, back when it first came out, way back in season of Arrivals, I think. In Season of Arrivals, it had quick draw, then they replaced it with surplus, right? So like they can switch perks out like that. And yeah, I'm sure that would make people unhappy, because like, well, I grinded forever to get that god roll, but at the same time, like it's part of what happens, right? Like how many of y'all have grinded your booty off for that god roll only for Bungie to turn around and nerf it next season so that it's, you know, nowhere near as viable as it once was, right? Like that's just part of life, right? But anyways, yeah, we're running on 15 minutes here, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the video here. But yeah, those are some thoughts that I had that I wanted to talk about. You know, I just wanted to get out there, get y'all's opinions on it. Tell me your thoughts on them down below. Of course, 3 things we talked about: the bow bug in the Crucible. Again, that might be just me being absolutely crazy. Like that might be my brain getting old and not registering things fast enough. But I swear that bows are hitting like milliseconds late. Like they're hitting like 0.2 seconds after they're, you know, the arrow actually fired. Of course, there's that, and then of course handheld supernova, which I know that's a little bit more specific, and then of course target lock on SMGs and stuff like that. I want to hear your thoughts on all those. With that being said, of course, like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe for more daily Destiny content, and do me a favor, watch the videos you see on the end screen, because for whatever reason YouTube thinks you will like them. Guys, I will see y'all next time. Bye for now.